Live from KSAT 12. The news at noon starts right now.
New at noon, an elementary school student had to be taken into custody after police say they got a report about a school shooting threat.
Well, this is according to a letter that the Lacoste Elementary principal sent to parents. Now it says that the Medina Valley ISD Police Department first received the report overnight, and after an investigation, they did not find any weapons in the accused student's home. However, the school says the student was taken into custody. The school also says that parents will notice increased police presence on campus today. And the principal reminding parents to make sure that kids know that making threats of any kind can lead to serious consequences.
Now over to Lee High School, reports of a student with a gun on campus. In a letter to parents, the Lee principal said the campus administration was able to find that student that was accused. And the principal says police searched the student's backpack and as a precaution, and they found a gun. The student now faces criminal charges. In the letter parents received, the principal there says, quote, use this opportunity to speak with your children about bringing prohibited items to school, especially ones that could cause unintended fear or panic. We all take instances like this seriously, and consequences will be given to anyone who brings these items to school.
Well, we have new details this noon in a deadly West Side shooting. San Antonio police now say the victim was a 36-year-old man.
Now they're still trying to learn about the person who killed him. Police say that they found the victim just before 3 this morning on a sidewalk, and he had been shot in the head. He was pronounced dead at the scene.
They say his car had bullet holes in the windshield, and police are looking at security video from a nearby store, hoping to learn more about a potential suspect. Well, expected in court today are the two teen brothers accused in the deadly shooting of 14-year-old Simon Cuevas. Their charges in this case were previously downgraded from capital murder to assault causing bodily injury. The hearings in this case are expected to take place any minute now. So we're going to keep you updated on what happens later on, the news at 5, and also our website at ksat.com.
Jury selection begins today in the case of the woman shot and killed by police officers. Nathaniel Villalobos, Eliezer Alejandro, and Alfred Flores are all charged in the death of Melissa Perez in July of 2023.
So they're accused of shooting Perez after she was having what was called a mental health crisis. And last week, a federal judge dismissed the civil case against the officers, and the defense wants that mentioned in the trial.
Then, during a pretrial hearing, grew heated yesterday as attorneys sparred over key issues in the case, including the defense accusing the city and SAPD of putting a gag order on its employees and preventing from talking to them, which was denied by Judge Ron Ronhell.
Testimony in this case is expected to begin tomorrow on Friday.
Taking a look outside, 85 degrees. Our live cam showing us beautiful blue skies, puffy clouds. It was humid, though.
It is a little humid, and I mean, good news is, though, we're already sitting on the warmer side in those 80s, and this morning was a beautiful morning. Yes, there still was that humidity, but most of us were still able to go out and enjoy the temperatures in the 60s for some folks. But right now in San Antonio, like Courtney mentioned, we're still sitting in those 80s. 85 degrees currently reported at the San Antonio Airport, 81 up in Fredericksburg. Still seeing some 70s, though, 79 degrees as you head into areas near Del Rio. Now, throughout the rest of your afternoon, expect temperatures to be similar to what we've been seeing. You're continuing to see temperatures up near 90 degrees by lunchtime, by the afternoon getting to about 92 degrees and slowly going back into those 70s and near 80 degrees by 10 o'clock. But the weekend is almost here, and with that, we're going to see more of the same, at least with our temperatures. Waking up in the 60s, peak temperature in the 90s, but there is that humidity returning on Sunday. We're going to see some low humidity as we head into the weekend. I'll talk about what's causing the humidity coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Shelby. Well, the Riverside Pride Festival is moving to a new location this weekend after a post on social media caused some controversy. So it was originally set for the Comal County Fairgrounds, but the festival will now be held at Faith UCC Church in New Braunfels this Saturday. This move comes after State Representative Carrie Isaac raised concerns about an all-ages drag show on the schedule, citing potential legal risks under Texas law. However, Riverside Pride says the drag show is family-friendly and not sexual. However, it changed venues to address some security issues and some misinformation.
It's culture, it's not crime, it's not harmful to children, and we're not going to stop having drag shows. We started to see more misinformation turn into security concerns, we decided that we had to find a different venue.
Now, both sides say that security was a factor. KSAT is still looking into what role this had in the decision-making process.
Well, Texas cities could be at risk of losing state and federal funding if they don't get rid of ideology artwork and murals on streets and crosswalks. Governor Greg Abbott sent a directive to the Texas Department of Transportation. TxDOT's statement then specified this includes any pavement markings such as decorative crosswalks or street murals unless they serve a direct traffic control or safety function. The governor said the initiative is to keep Texans moving safely and free from distraction. The governor's press office declined an interview with KSAT, instead resent a link to the governor's press release. His press release reads, in part, quote, Texans expect their taxpayer dollars to be used wisely, not advance political agendas on the Texas roadways.
You know, people want to say, that we're about small government. This is an example of big government. When you take and stick your hand into another government, which is the city of San Antonio, I have faith in the city of San Antonio. I have faith in our city council. I have faith in our police department. I think that the governor is itching for a fight, and I think he's going to get that.
Cities and counties have 30 days to comply with the governor's order. Otherwise, they are at risk of losing state and federal funding in any agreements with TxDOT.
Well, tomorrow a new chapter begins for Uvalde students with the grand opening of Legacy Elementary School. The Uvalde CISD Moving Forward Foundation will celebrate the completion of this brand new school after nearly 20 months of construction. The two-story campus features 36 classrooms with space for up to 800 students. Legacy Elementary is ready to welcome 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders next fall. And inside there's a memorial honoring the lives lost at Robb Elementary back in 2022. It's an art piece that is a large oak tree symbolizing the teachers and the children victims there. Ernie Zudiga will be there live tomorrow to bring us coverage.
A construction project is at a standstill this morning after a worker died earlier this week in Medina County. It happened off of County Road 683 near Lytle. KSAT did confirm there was a death involving a worker and construction equipment, specifically a large truck that hit a person.
The site is the future home of Rowan Digital Infrastructure Cinco project, so that is a supersized data center that we reported on last week. One neighbor says he's been on edge.
Anytime you have big equipment, it's going to be dangerous. I just wish there were more precautions taken. And it's already a pretty busy road, and then now you add all the equipment and big trucks.
Well, Turner Construction, that's the company overseeing this project, says all work at the site has been suspended so investigators can figure out what happened.
Well, if you're in the market for a healthcare job, you have less than 2 hours to make it to a healthcare job fair. The goal is to connect employees with local talent. Some large companies will be there, including UT Health San Antonio, Methodist Healthcare, and University Health System. It's at Pre-K for SA on Medical Drive, and it's until 2 this afternoon.
Also happening right now until 1 p.m., an inclusive job fair aimed at connecting job seekers with and without disabilities to local employers at the Data Point Career Center. So this fair will provide accessibility accommodations like sign language interpreters and assistive technology, along with career coaching and workforce resources. So more than 30 employers are going to be on site for interviews, so make sure to bring those resumes still and, of course, dress professionally.
Frontier Airlines is expanding its nonstop flights from San Antonio International Airport. Starting tomorrow, the ultra low-cost carrier will launch a new nonstop service to Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. This new route will join existing flights to Phoenix offered by American and Southwest Airlines. The Phoenix service will run 3 times a week on Mondays, Fridays, and Sundays. To celebrate, Frontier is offering special fare tickets starting at just $49.
Well, saving a life can be as simple as rolling up your sleeve. How donating plasma can have a major impact on recipients.
The government shutdown is on its 9th day, with the divided government literally spilling out into the halls of Congress. I'm Christiane Cordero in Washington with the latest coming up.
Well, taking a live look at the White House this afternoon and a Capitol in turmoil. Lawmakers in Congress don't seem to be making any progress when it comes to striking a deal to the end of the government shutdown.
And now tensions are high as the shutdown hits day 9. And that tension on display after lawmakers got into a couple of heated confrontations.
ABC's Rachel Scott tells us where things stand now and what it means for you.
The gridlock in Washington has lawmakers at odds on what needs to happen to get the government back open.
We are now 9 days into the Democrats' government shutdown.
The federal government has now been shut down for more than a week. But Donald Trump, Speaker Johnson, and Republicans in Congress are nowhere to be found.
Democrats are standing firm on their demands, a funding bill that extends Obamacare subsidies and rescinds Republicans' cuts to Medicaid. The divided government is literally spilling out into the halls of Congress, with House Speaker Mike Johnson arguing with Arizona Democratic Senators Mark Kelly and Ruben Gallego.
Republicans are the party. Wait a minute.
And Republican Representative Mike Lawler confronting House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries.
You voted to shut the government down.
You're making a show of this to make yourself relevant.
It's sad. You could easily sign on to
You're
this.
embarrassing yourself right now.
4 million Americans deemed essential federal workers are now working without pay. Speaker Johnson on C-SPAN this morning heard from a military wife and mother begging him to help reopen the government.
I'm begging you to pass this legislation. My kids could die. We don't have the credit because of the medical bills that I have to pay regularly. You could stop this, and you could be the one that could say military's getting paid.
I want you to hear something very clearly. The Republicans are the ones delivering for you. We had a vote to pay the troops. It was the continuing resolution 3 weeks ago. Every single Republican but 2 voted to keep the government open so that your paycheck can flow. Every Democrat in the House, except for 1, voted to close it.
Furloughed workers are expected to get one more paycheck tomorrow, reflecting their work through September 30th. Then they won't get paid again until the shutdown ends. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Well, for us, we're still noticing a little bit in the air. Not only the warmer temperatures and the cooler temperatures in the morning, but ragweed is still sitting at moderate levels today at 160. Mold sitting low at 150. And if you were hoping, the aquifer is actually down half a foot. I'll break down the rain chances coming up after the break.
Zoo presented by PNC Bank is happening right now at San Antonio Zoo. And there's so many amazing things, from the new John and Grelly Les Spider Rainforest, new for 2025. Now I know that sounds kind of scary, but it's not. There are wonderful spiders inside in their own habitat. So it's such a unique opportunity to be able to be amongst the butterflies, floating all around you with beautiful photography opportunities. But then you also get to learn about spiders, and maybe you won't be as scared of them when you leave, but they're inside their own terrariums and habitats, and you're able to get up close and look at them. But you're protected because they're in their own habitat. The last hour of every day, we have free trick-or-treating. So you can wear your costume every day from now through Halloween. And on Halloween, we're gonna have special events happening all day long, and we'll have 2 hours of trick-or-treating.
The spider habitats looks pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I like the names of the spiders.
Yeah.
There's like Professor Legs out there. I was like, oh, that's cute.
All right, well, it is never too early to start thinking about Friday plans. So while we're speaking about the zoo, what about a day at the zoo with a discount?
So tomorrow, the San Antonio Zoo will provide discounted admission for Bexar County residents as part of Locals Day. And that means that all Bexar County residents can visit the zoo for $8. So you can buy those tickets online, and one guest per party must provide an ID or utility bill with a Bexar County resident address.
There are more Locals Days planned this year, so just check out the dates on KSAT.com. You can search for San Antonio Zoo on our website.
It'll be nice tomorrow, but they'll just definitely have to find shade to, you know, for all the heat out there.
Hopefully, I wonder if any of those exhibits are inside.
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Might be a good idea to spend some time, especially if you go to the zoo today or tomorrow. Temperatures both days are going to be in the 90s, similar to what we've been seeing. I wish I came with better news, but really we're still going to stick around in the low 90s. 92 degrees expected for San Antonio later today. 90 degrees as you get into the hill country near Comfort. 88 in Kerrville. 92 degrees down in Pleasanton and Atascosa County, and really over the next 7 days, we're going to continue to see what we've been seeing. Temperatures in the 90s, between 90 to 92, and that's basically the rest of the weather. There's only going to be a few small differences, but keep in mind, the 90s is not normal. Our average high is about 85 degrees, so we should be a few degrees cooler. But even last year, we were similar to what we are this year. Our last 90-degree day, the furthest down the line in fall, last year, our last 90-degree day was actually in November. It was about November 4th. Previous years, we've been in October, and our average, if you take the data over a 30-year span, our last 90-degree day is about October 19th. So we still have about 10 days to go. And really, we're going to continue to see the temperatures in the 90s, all because of this right here, that heat high. We've been continuing to see it normally in Texas over the summer months, giving us temperatures in the triple digits or near triple digit heat. That's normally what the heat high does for us. But this time, it's giving us warmer temperatures still, just in the 90s, because our average temperature, and we are starting to see some of that cooler air come in for portions of the country in fall. But otherwise, as that heat high continues to stick around, it also is going to give us some cooler air and some drier air, but we're still going to be above average for us in San Antonio, even stretching all the way up to the Red River near Texas and Oklahoma, but also the Red River of the North near North Dakota and Minnesota, while we're tracking below average temperatures coming onshore from California. Now, traditionally, we see our first cold front bringing that cooler air and that below average temperature in September. Our average is about September 23rd, whereas it hasn't been out of the record if we do see a few fronts in October. I mean, 2023, 2015, and even 2019, we did see a few fronts come through in the first week of October, but really we do have a chance for a front to come later on. But tomorrow morning, as you're waking up, temperatures in and around San Antonio expected to be about 68 to 70 degrees. As you go into portions of the hill country or even further west, expect temperatures to be in the mid to low 60s, as there's not much suburban area to really see those temperatures soar. But temperatures waking up in the 60s over the next few mornings. Afternoons, once again, similar, having our peak temperature between 90 to 92 degrees.
More 90s. All right. Thank you, Shelby. Well, are you ready? In a few days, this weekend, actually, thousands of people are going to be gathering at the Rock at La Cantera for Light the Night. So this is an opportunity to take part in a beautiful event that honors people who have been impacted by blood cancer. Now, hundreds of those lanterns will illuminate the sky to celebrate, honor, and remember people impacted by blood cancer. Our Daniela Ibarra will be emceeing this event, and of course we have more information for this happening on Friday. This is on KSATcommunity.com. I'm sorry, Saturday. Sorry.
A little boy's life completely changed, all because of a plasma donation, but it's something not enough people know about. Coming up, how giving plasma is different than just donating blood.
Well, it is International Plasma Awareness Week, and it's time to put a spotlight on the importance of life-saving plasma donations.
Experts say many blood donors don't even know about giving plasma, and it's a critical way to help people with certain medical disorders, and it's also used in emergencies.
CNN's Mandy Gaither has more on how plasma-derived therapy can be life-changing for recipients.
When he started elementary school, Jana Matthews says her son kept getting a cold that would always end in pneumonia, antibiotics, hospitalizations, even the removal of his adenoids didn't help.
It was devastating, and there was that mom instinct in my belly that something else was wrong.
At 7 years old, Matthews says her son was diagnosed with common variable immune deficiency, or CVID. His body doesn't produce enough antibodies to fight infection. She says doctors treated him with human plasma.
When I tell you it was night and day, within 24 hours, he was a normal 7-year-old boy running around the house, wrestling with his brother and our dog. And it was like a plant that finally got sunlight and water.
These therapies depend on donations. Giving plasma is different from donating whole blood. The Plasma Protein Therapeutics Association says it's collected through a machine that separates the plasma from a healthy donor's blood. The remaining blood components are then returned to the donor.
The process takes about an hour. and has about the same side effects as general blood donation. You might feel a little dizzy, maybe a little fatigued the day after.
Now, at age 23, Matthew's son has received plasma every week since his diagnosis.
My son is now thriving and living amongst the rest of us and achieving as an adult, and it just seems incredible.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
And there are new developments on a potential ceasefire in Gaza. I'm Marcus Morrow. I'll have a report from Tel Aviv coming up.
Well, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a long-awaited ceasefire and hostage deal, but this is only the first phase of the peace plan.
ABC's Marcus Moore is in Tel Aviv right now explaining what comes next and what this means for the people in the Middle East.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convening his cabinet today to discuss the proposed ceasefire deal. The wider government then expected to vote to ratify the deal to end the fighting in Gaza and return all of the hostages. President Trump announcing on Wednesday that both Israel and Hamas signed off on the first phase of this peace plan in Gaza. The White House sharing video of some of the hostage families speaking with the president.
Well, what do you guys have to say to President Trump? Thank you. Thank you. They're all coming back on Monday.
Celebrations also in Israel after hearing the news. Hamas will have 72 hours to release all of the living hostages. There are believed to be 20 still alive. In return, nearly 2,000 prisoners are believed to be under discussion for release. And Israel will withdraw some of its troops, quote, to an agreed upon line. The war began 2 years ago this week when Hamas attacked Israel, killing 1,200 people. Since then, Israel's response, killing more than 67,000 Palestinians, according to the Hamas-run Gaza Health Ministry. Previous ceasefires failing after both sides accused the other of violations. The president describing this deal as the first step toward a strong, durable, and everlasting peace, calling it a great day and thanking mediators from Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey. Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff and his son-in-law Jared Kushner also were involved in the negotiations. President Trump saying he's likely traveling to Israel in the coming days, Netanyahu inviting him to address the Israeli government. And this is only the first phase of this agreement, and while many are celebrating the end, the potential end of this 2-year-long war, big questions still remain about the future of Gaza and the Palestinian people, many in desperate need of aid. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Tel Aviv.
Well, if you can't find your favorite foods, the Labor Department is reporting that immigration policy may be to blame. The Labor Department says restricting new migrants and deporting current ones has led to a labor shortage. It goes on to say that shortage has increased the risk of supply shock-induced food shortages. The Secretary of Agriculture previously suggested that 34 million Americans on Medicaid could fill many of the jobs left vacant by immigrants. The Labor Department disagrees, though, saying it doesn't think unemployed or underemployed Americans want the jobs.
At least 6 air traffic control facilities were working with reduced staff as of yesterday. That's according to an FAA operations plan. This comes as government shutdown is in its 9th day, and the officials say the Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport Control Tower will not have normal staffing levels from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. local time. The FAA said delays are probable for flights headed to that airport. There are also controller shortages reported toward the tower in Denver, and facilities handling flights for the Newark, New Jersey, and Orlando airports. Part of air traffic control centers based in New Mexico and California are also operating short-staffed. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he recognizes the economic realities for workers during the shutdown, but he added that controllers need to come back to their jobs to control the U.S. airspace.
The Internal Revenue Service is feeling the pinch from the government shutdown. Officials say they are furloughing nearly half of the agency's more than 74,000 staffers. This move comes as part of the IRS's new shutdown contingency plan. Previously, the IRS had said its entire workforce would stay on the job due to the funds that came from the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. But the original plan only called for that to cover the initial 5 business days. The updated contingency could be tweaked to address what the agency describes as additional challenges. The IRS notes that new staffing levels are expected to stay in effect through April.
The $7,500 federal tax credit on new electric vehicle purchases has ended. And now General Motors is walking back a plan to use its auto finance company to effectively extend the federal EV tax credit. A GM spokesman said they have decided not to claim the tax credit as they had announced they do last month. The plan drew criticism from Republican lawmakers. GM customers will still get the benefit of the $7,500 discount for the leases that start by the end of October, but the company will fund that incentive without claiming the tax credit.
Out there with live cam, we're already warming up to 85 degrees, but I have to say some of these evenings have been nice. I mean, even yesterday, my daughter was supposed to have practice indoors for volleyball. They actually took some of it outdoors.
Wow, there you go.
It was so nice in the evening.
And I mean, about midday is when we start to really notice the difference. It's still muggy and a little humid in the morning, and that's normal for us in Texas. But what we do notice is about this time, we start to see the temperature soar and that humidity decrease a little bit. I mean, just take a look at our temperatures right now. 85 degrees in San Antonio, still a little cooler in Del Rio, in the 70s at 79, but Kerrville, 83, New Braunfels, 84 degrees. Still seeing that humidity, but throughout the day, we are expecting our actual air temperature to get to the 90s and seeing that humidity decrease for most of us. Still seeing those mostly clear skies to even the partly cloudy skies, similar to what we've been seeing already this morning, but that humidity is expected to decrease for most of us. Not everyone, but you still will notice in the afternoon and into the evening that it won't be feeling as muggy. We won't be seeing that humidity as much, and it starts to increase as we get into next week on Sunday and Monday. I'll talk about what's causing it and when some folks can see some rain chances coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Shelby. Well, local dads are coming together to help each other show up for their children. How the effort is encouraging them to play a bigger role in their kids' education.
And it's an increasingly common scam involving Bitcoin ATMs that have popped up in many places. One victim was captured on police body camera as an alleged scammer pressured her into trying to give up her life savings. $247 million. That's how much money scammers stole during Bitcoin-related scams in America just last year.
It's an increasingly common scheme where scammers trick people into thinking they need to use Bitcoin ATMs to transfer their money.
ABC's Jay O'Brien explains how one victim nearly lost her entire life savings until a stranger stepped in and called for help.
Hello.
She's at $23,000 already.
Where's she at right now?
In the corner over there.
You're watching a cryptocurrency scam caught in real time.
Yes. Can I talk to you for a second?
Please, I have the bank on the phone.
Okay, let me talk to who you're talking to on the bank.
I'm in danger.
Okay, stop putting money in there.
Fran Bates is loading tens of thousands of dollars of her life savings into something called a Bitcoin ATM.
No, you're not.
And is one click away from losing it all.
Don't click, I'm done. Do not click anything.
Over the course of 2 days, a scammer convinced the 85-year-old her bank account had been hacked and she needed to put her money into a machine she'd never seen before for safety.
True, that's
it seems
exactly
so
what
hard to believe.
I know, and you think if you had to listen to it, you would wonder what's going on with that woman. Doesn't she realize what they're doing to her? No, you don't. It's a horrible, horrible experience.
Fran is just one of dozens of victims ABC News and our own television stations have found whose scams ended at a Bitcoin ATM, a machine popular in gas stations, supermarkets, and liquor stores that experts tell us scammers are increasingly using as a tool to separate Americans from their hard-earned cash.
They look pretty much like a regular ATM. The difference is you don't really get money out of them. You put money in and buy cryptocurrency.
Data from the FBI shows Americans collectively lost nearly $250 million to scams using Bitcoin ATMs in 2024, more than double from the previous year.
These are all transnational criminal groups. Yeah, these are not one-off guys in grandma's basement.
Adam Zarazinski, a crypto forensics expert, tracks the sophisticated criminal networks behind these scams and explained why he believes more isn't being done by the companies operating these machines.
Money. It's money.
They have a financial incentive to let people be scammed?
Yep, because they make a percent on every transaction.
And while the vast majority of these victims never see a dime back.
No, listen to me. Do you really want to fight this fight with me?
For Fran Bates, a police lieutenant intervened just in time after Mindy Jordan, a quick-thinking bystander at that gas station, called 911.
I hate when somebody tries to take advantage of somebody that's not able to protect themselves.
The pair reunited here for the first time.
She was my angel.
Your angel?
Yes, she rescued me.
Well, experts say that if you think you're being scammed, you can always call the AARP fraud hotline or law enforcement to get immediate help. Very scary situation.
We are I'm like tearing up over here. I mean, thank goodness this is what we need in our world. People looking out for each other. I'm gonna cry, you guys. I need to get some sleep.
Me too.
Well, I think
I'm so glad she did that.
I agree, and I think the only water that we're gonna see is coming from
my eyes.
because
Sorry, I don't have enough for everybody.
We also don't have any rain chances on the 7-day forecast. Even then, take a look at the next 7 days. No rain. We are going to get some moisture into south central Texas, but sadly, no rain. I'll take a look at the latest drought monitor. That is in today, and not some good news coming up after the break.
All right. Even if I had enough tears for everybody, there's salt water. It's not going to help. All right. So let's talk about what we really need is real rain.
I know I have the fancy iPad here, and I kind of gave them a glimpse, and I don't have good news.
Doesn't look good.
So I'm going to start off with the drought monitor from last week and kind of do a little slider. So this is the drought monitor from last week just for south central Texas, the Hill Country, going all the way closer to Houston. Now, what I am going to show you is this little slider, this blue line that shows you what this week's is. So far to San Antonio, nothing new. As we go just to the west, there is a little bit of improvement or deprovement for some folks near Gillespie County. But as I move this all the way over, really not much of a difference. The only difference we're really seeing is up near Gillespie County, near Fredericksburg, that abnormally dry for area. But really, that is the only difference on the drought monitor this week. I wish I had better news, especially because, like I mentioned earlier, we don't have any rain chances. This is the rainfall totals we have seen over the last month. Portions near the coastal plains have received multiple inches of rain. Near Corpus Christi, they have about 3 inches. Just to the north, near Port A, they've received almost 5 inches of rain for some folks. Just over 4 inches near Laredo. But where we see that kind of darker blue color between Ozona Junction down to Carrizo Springs and parallel up until about the time you get to Houston and College Station, that kind of parallelogram or rectangle is where we're seeing some of the worst drought conditions, and there hasn't been any rain. We've gotten 1/10 of an inch of rain in San Antonio over the last month. Now, I do have some good news. If you're traveling out to West Texas, they are going to see some rain, and they're still in a drought for some folks over there. But here's what it's going to be causing. It's because of that tropical leftover and that tropical storm Priscilla and this Invest EP90. That's an area of development we're watching to potentially form. And as it continues to go around that area of high pressure that still will be in areas of San Antonio, all that moisture is going to get sucked in to the north and to the west of that. So areas near El Paso, you could get some heavy rainfall near the desert southwest, near Phoenix, Albuquerque, Vegas, but all the rain is going to stay well over there, and even near Fort Stockton, Amarillo, Lubbock could even get some rain all the way up to Oklahoma City. But sadly, San Antonio, we're still going to be under that heat high, and all that rain is going to be steered away from us. Now, Priscilla right now is still sitting at a tropical storm producing 65-mile-an-hour winds. That's still just near the shoreline of Baja California, but we're still watching that potential for development just to the south and to the east of that helpful for some of that moisture, but really going to stay dry for San Antonio over the next 6 to 10 days. Like I mentioned, still sitting in those 80s right now for San Antonio. Throughout the next few hours, still continuing to see our temperatures increase to about 92 degrees for most of us, still seeing those mostly clear skies. And even for the 7-day forecast, like I mentioned, not much of an improvement. Over the next 3 days, waking up between 65 to 67, peak temperature for most of us between 90 to 92 degrees.
Thank you, Shelby. Well, dads in a local school district banding together to support their children. Why one father says a new program helped him not only increase his involvement with his kids' schoolwork, it also helped him improve his relationship with his children. Well, SAISD has a student population of about 44,000 students, which in a perfect world means 44,000 dads.
A large number that motivated the creation of SAIS Dads, which is a new district program. It's meant to help fathers form community with each other and learn how to be more involved with their children's education.
And one of those dads told our Daphne Gray that this helps break that stigma of a father's role in the household.
How do you feel knowing that this program is existing so that you guys could get more engaged with your young ones?
I similarly fell into that role of dad does this stuff. Dad comes home from work and he fixes the homework and he makes sure the plumbing works, and then mom takes care of the stuff, right? But then what ends up happening is you don't put any relational equity into your children. There's more split of the responsibilities. There's not really set gender things as much anymore. We all need to take care of the house, take care of the money, and then take care of the children. And so I'm excited that we're all here together to kind of like share tips and talk to one another and do what we can to try to support one another.
What are you most looking forward to within this program?
Connecting with other dads. I think it is understated sometimes or underappreciated how much dads want to be a part of their kids' lives and how much we want to invest, but sometimes we don't have the tools, sometimes we don't have the support, sometimes we don't have the knowledge.
Are your kids looking forward to seeing you participate?
I think so, and I think I'm really excited to show them, for them to be a part of as many things as they can, and then for them to sort of hold me accountable as well. It's like, Dad, you learned that skill, are you doing it? Hey, we talked about this way of supporting, has that happened? So I think it opens up a lot of communication. I try to really treat my kids like people, and so if I'm trying to get better at a relationship with them, I think this could be a really integral tool for that.
Daphne Gray, KSAT 12 News.
And if you're a dad in this district and want to be a part of SAIS Dads, go to our website at KSAT.com because we have a link to that district's website.
There you'll find ways to contact the district directly to participate in their upcoming sessions throughout the year.
Saoirse Ronan is joining the Beatles biopics. According to multiple reports, the four-time Oscar nominee is set to play Linda Eastman McCartney, wife and eventual bandmate of Paul McCartney. Oscar nominee Paul Mescal plays Paul. He and Ronan also played husband and wife in the 2023 sci-fi thriller Foe. The four Beatles biopics, one from each band member's point of view, are due out in 2028.
This game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
Or a movie screen. A secret screening at the New York Film Festival turned out to be the world premiere of Marty Supreme. Star Timothy Chalamet and director Josh Safdie were on hand for the surprise. Marty Supreme opens in theaters December 25th.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but we're going to Jersey.
The Heroes in a Half Shell make a shocking discovery in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Chrome Alone 2 Lost in New Jersey. The new short film is set to play in front of the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants when it debuts in theaters December 19th. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All right, and just a reminder, this Sunday is the third annual Souls Walking for Souls Fentanyl Awareness Walk. I will be honored to MC that for a third year in a row, but we had a wonderful town hall earlier this week with some of the angel moms who have lost their children to fentanyl poisoning and some amazing other speakers that will be there. So we hope to see you there. It's at the Brooks, it's at the Green Line at Brooks Army Center at 3 to 8 p.m. and there will be speakers. There'll be, it's celebratory too. Of course, we're going to honor lives lost, but it's a celebration and a lot of education on fentanyl and Narcan and anything you need to know about that topic.
Yeah, it was good to hear some of the stories from the angel moms this week and the town hall and also in our newscast. So thank you guys for sharing your stories and look forward to the event on Sunday, but hopefully at 3, not too hot out there.
It's going to be toasty. We already know, right, Shelby?
Yeah, guys, sadly, it's going to be similar to what we're experiencing today. Temperatures between the mid to upper 80s, even the low 90s. Now, there is some hopefully good news. I'll put that in parentheses because what we're watching is a mid-October front. As of now, some cooler air is expected to drop in from the north and from the west. It's approaching low pressure system coming in from LA, and that could give us a potential cooler chance for some temperatures. We're talking waking up in the 50s, peak temperature in the 70s. Now that is only possibility. It is still a ways away, so we'll continue to keep you posted. Over the next few days, though, it is still going to be feeling a little bit more like fall, sitting in the 65 to 67 degree range. Plenty of sunny skies as we get closer to the weekend, and next week returning with that moisture.
All right. Well, you know, fingers crossed. Bring a fan. We'll still see you there on Sunday.
Absolutely. Or look for shade, or just bring your own shade. That's a good idea as well. Thanks for joining us today.
Have a great day.